One Piece has many things: pirates, dreams, trauma, and some of the worst parenting decisions ever recorded in fiction. Seriously, if Child Protective Services existed in this world, half the cast would be in witness protection. Let's start this list off with Sanji. Sanji's dad is Vinsmoke Judge, a scientist, and living proof that intelligence does not equal wisdom. Judge didn't want children, he wanted weapons with legs. So naturally, he experimented on his own kids like Sho Tucker from Full Metal Alchemist. Sanji's mom, Vinsmoke Sora, however, was an absolute hero. She secretly took a drug to cancel Judge's experiments, hoping at least one child would grow up with emotions. Judge responded by abusing him, locking him in a dungeon, and calling him a failure. Thankfully, Sanji escaped and met Zeph, the real MVP. Zeph saved him at sea, gave him food, nearly starved to death himself, and in the manga, ate his own leg to survive. That's not parenting, that's commitment. Judge provided DNA. Zeph earned the title. Moving on, we have Chopper. Chopper's biological parents? Delicious reindeer stew. Unfortunately, Chopper ate the human fruit and immediately became the weird kid nobody wanted to sit next to, until he met Dr. Hiruluk, a man who looked at a blue-nosed reindeer monster and said, "Yeah, that's my son now." Hiruluk gave Chopper love, purpose, and emotional damage that still hurts to think about. When Hiruluk got sick, Chopper went on a nightmare journey, fought his own herd, broke his body, and brought back a mushroom he thought would cure him. Hiruluk knew it wouldn't. He ate it anyway, smiled, and later went out in an explosion, laughing all so Chopper wouldn't blame himself. Chopper wasn't just backup food. He was a son, and Hiruluk was his real dad. Next on the list, we have the future king of the pirates, Luffy. Ah yes, Monkey D. Luffy. His father is Monkey D. Dragon, the most wanted man in the world. Dragon's only known act of fatherhood was saving Luffy once at Lugtown and immediately disappearing again. Instead of raising his kid, he dumped him on Garp, who then dumped him on Dadan, who somehow became the most emotionally responsible adult in the situation. Dadan raised Luffy and Ace by yelling at them, feeding them, and occasionally beating the sense into them, which in One Piece counts as love. After Ace's death, admitted her heart broke thinking about Luffy. Also, yes, Luffy's mom is unknown, but Oda did hint that we did saw her in the story before at some point. Next up, we have Nami and Nojiko. While we don't know who their biological parents were, we know who mattered: Belmir. Belmir is a former Marine with no money and 2 starving kids. She raised them with tough love and pure devotion. When Arlong showed up, she proudly said, "Those are my daughters." And you know how that ended? She gave her life so Nami and Nojiko can live. Nami spent years enslaved by Arlong, all to honor Belmir's sacrifice. So when Luffy finally took Arlong down, that breakdown wasn't just freedom. It was grief, rage, and closure crashing at once. Belmir wasn't their birth mom. She was their real one. Let me just get this one out of the way. This lady is the definition of for the streets. Charlotte Linlin Big Mom. She has 85 children. 85. We don't even know all the fathers. At this point, neither does she. Her parenting style includes emotional manipulation, forced marriages, soul extraction, and ditty birthday parties where someone might die. Somehow, she still loves her kids in the most terrifying way possible. Is she a good mom? Who knows? Is she memorable? Unfortunately, yes. Next up, we have the man who holds the Guinness World Record of lies. Usopp's father is Yasopp, the legendary sniper of the red-haired pirates. Yasopp decided going to buy milk wasn't enough, he had to go look for a premium goat to have at home. He left his wife and kid to chase adventure and never returned. Even when Usopp's mom, Banshina, was dying, Usopp started lying about pirates attacking the village because he hoped his dad would come back. Banshina, meanwhile, smiled through illness, loved her son endlessly, and shaped Usopp into the man he became. A big pathological liar. Even alone, Usopp still dreamed of becoming a pirate, not just like his dad, but stronger, braver, better. After 1,000 plus episodes, he is not doing a really good job of that. Next up, we have Zoro. Zoro's parents died early. His mother died from illness and his father was killed by pirates. So naturally, life decided, let's make him a swordsman with zero emotional support. That role went to Shimotsuki Kuina's father, Koshiro, who trained Zoro, disciplined him, and gave him the blade, Wado Ichimonji, after Kuina's death. Turns out, plot twist, Zoro is actually descended from the Shimotsuki clan. clan, meaning Koshiro wasn't just his mentor, he was family the whole time. One Piece loves retroactive emotional damage. Now let's talk about Ace. Ace's biological father was Gold D. Roger, Pirate King. Ace hated him. To Ace, Roger was just the man whose name ruined his life. His mother, Rouge, however, is built different. She carried Ace for 20 months to protect him from the world government, gave birth, named him, smiled, and died. 20 months is a crazy amount of time to be pregnant. That's not motherhood, that's superhuman. Ace grew up under Garp, alongside Luffy, and eventually found his real father in Whitebeard, a man who embraced him, forgave him, and called him son. Ace didn't die as Roger's legacy. He died as Whitebeard's son. Finally, we have one of my favorite females in One Piece, Nico Robin. Robin's mom, Nico Olvia, left to uncover the truth of the Void Century. Robin grew up alone, bullied, and labeled a monster. When Olvia returned, she pretended not to recognize her, not out of cruelty, but protection. And during Ohara's destruction, mother and daughter reunited briefly. Olvia's final words told Robin to live. Thankfully, she met Luffy, who went to war just for her and gave her a well-deserved family and home. Next up, we have Yamato. Yamato's father is Kaido, also known as the strongest creature alive and the weakest excuse for a parent. And her mom? Possibly Big Mom? I mean, she is good for it. I wouldn't even be surprised. Kaido didn't raise Yamato, he survived her. When Yamato decided to admire Oden, Kaido took that personally and responded with chains, starvation, and emotional warfare. At one point, he literally locked her in a cave with starving samurai and thought, yeah, they will turn her into sushi for sure. Yamato doubled down, declared herself Odin, and waited for Joy Boy like it was a Prophecy DLC. When Luffy showed up, Yamato proceeded to help overthrow her own father. Also, Kaido didn't even call Yamato his daughter, he called her his son because he wanted a strong heir. So yeah, therapy bills would be insane. Franky. Franky's biological father is Queen. Yes, that Queen. Funk-loving, plague-spreading, dinosaur, cyborg, lunatic. Queen and Franky are both genius engineers who turn themselves into cyborgs. Queen builds weapons to terrorize the world. Franky builds ships, bridges, and friendship-powered laser cannons. Also, Queen literally threw Franky off a ship when he was 10. Just casually tossed him into the ocean like expired groceries. Franky's real dad was Tom, the legendary shipwright. Tom took Franky in, taught him everything, believed in him, and showed him what it meant to build for freedom, not destruction. Queen may share blood with Franky. Tom built his soul. Law. Law's parents were doctors, good ones. Unfortunately, they lived in Flavance, a country poisoned by Amberlead while the world government pretended not to notice. When things went bad, they went really bad. Law lost his parents, his home, and everyone he loved. Then came Corazon Rocinante, a clumsy, kind-hearted marine who somehow became the best dad in the entire series. Corazon gave Law hope, protected him, fed him lies about the world being kind, and literally sacrificed his life to save him. He forced Law to eat the Opa Opa no Mi, cured him, and died silently so Law could escape. Law didn't just lose a mentor, he lost the only person who ever truly chose him. Next up, we have Doflamingo and Corazon. Same parents, same trauma, completely different outcomes. Their father, Don Quixote Homing, gave up his celestial dragon status to live as a normal human. Admirable? Yes. Terrible timing? Absolutely. The family was hunted, tortured, and starved. Their mother died, and Doflamingo snapped. He blamed his father, killed him, and tried to return to the celestial dragons with his dad's head like, "Can I come back now?" They said no. That rejection created one of the most evil villains in One Piece. Meanwhile, Corazon went the opposite route, becoming a marine and secretly working to stop his own brother. Same pain, two paths. Bonnie's mother was Ginny, a revolutionary who suffered more than most characters ever will. She was captured by the world government, forced into marriage with the celestial dragon, experimented on by Saturn, and eventually died from sapphire scale disease. Bonnie was left alone until Bartholomew Kuma stepped in. Kuma raised her with love, warmth, and kindness. And then, because One Piece hates happiness, he sacrificed everything. He gave up his body, his mind, and his identity, becoming a weapon for the world government all so Bonnie could live. Kuma didn't just protect her. He erased himself for her future. That's not just fatherhood, that's devotion at its most tragic. Last but not least, Shanks. Shanks' biological father is Figureland Garling, a celestial dragon and one of the 5 elders, meaning Shanks was born into literal god-tier privilege, and yet he grew up as a pirate. Why? Because Roger found him as a baby in a treasure chest and said, "Yeah, this is mine now." Roger raised Shanks, taught him how to live free, laugh loud, and fear nothing. Shanks laughs like Roger, drinks like Roger, lives like Roger. Garling might have made him, but Roger raised him. One Piece parents are either legendary heroes, absolute disasters, or people who love their kids so hard it broke the world. So who do you think are the best parents in One Piece? Let me know in the comments if I forgot anyone. And yeah, maybe don't let Vinsmoke Judge babysit.